The NHL playoffs with Adam Booth waiting the line. He joined us yesterday for some esports, Dota 2 betting. Hope you jumped on that. But here he is today, NHL betting. Welcome, Adam Booth.
Hello, Natalie. Echo.
You're eliminated and echoey.
I know. I tried to get a bit more lighting because the bulb went in on this side and it's kind of glaring off my face there. Is that a bit better?
It is a little bit better. Yes, I like your top. I'm going to say, hi, I'm just passing on a message here.
But it's actually my little brother's. He doesn't know I brought it with me to England at the moment, so hopefully he doesn't see this segment. I took it about 5 years ago, though, so hopefully he doesn't care at this point.
He's going to be like, that's where it is. Well, listen, NHL playoffs, and it is quite exciting time. 3 huge Game 7 clashes. Very exciting indeed.
Yeah. So we briefly talked about it yesterday when I think it was Ergo-tastic or something asked what my leans were.
Right.
Game sevens are a sort of hockey fan's dream and hockey bettor's nightmare. I don't want to say nightmare in the sense you can't take a side, but it's never something you go into with a lot of confidence. Even home teams, the win percentage for home teams is just a bit above about 55%. So it's not even like home ice is a huge advantage. We can start briefly with the Vegas Golden Knights versus San Jose series. Mm-hmm. Vegas was 3-1 up in the series, and San Jose's won the last 2. They've looked, they haven't outplayed Vegas, but they've looked like a much better team than they did in the first 3 of the first 4 games. So it's like, oh, okay, now do the Sharks have all the momentum? Are they rolling? Now they're back at home. So you can make that argument, but then you could be like, well, Vegas has the better goalie. They've, have a faster tempo. They're more disciplined. They went all the way to the Cup Finals last year. They beat San Jose last year. So there's really, in order to try and pick a side in one of these games, you really end up just being like, well, I'm a fan of this team, or I like an aspect of this part of their game, and that's why I'm going with it. You really can make arguments for both sides in every series in a Game 7. So, and the reason is they've both won 3 games. So you've seen the best and the worst from both of them, and you know what I mean. So it's not something where you say I feel very strongly like this team is much better.
So basically, from a spectator's point of view, it's a fantastic position to be in. But from a betting stance, does it make it hard? Do you have any? Then obviously we've got the 3 games happening Wednesday, Thursday. There, do you have any sort of any tips right now?
Yeah. So with the Sharks, they opened at Pinnacle at a pick'em line 1.95 each way. That dropped down to about 1.9, 1.88 today as I looked most recently. I think the situation with the Sharks is I would lean their way, but you have to remember I also took them to win the series. That was based on sports model projections, and that was also based on if they played disciplined hockey, if they played well defensively, if Martin Jones, their goaltender, didn't look like he did for most of the season, then they would take the series. And we've kind of seen that in the last couple games. So I am leaning that way. Also, home ice is still an advantage, even though it's not enough an advantage that it should sway you to bet on a team alone. So I've already got the Sharks in the series money line. So there's no reason for me to add anything else. All I'm doing is doubling up potential profits or losses. There's no added advantage to take them again now. That said, I was talking to a buddy on Twitter yesterday, and he was asking about hedging on the Bruins and taking the Leafs. And my point was, well, if the Bruins get out to a 2-goal lead, you can look to take the Leafs plus 1.5, plus 2.5 if it's a good price. Then you're guaranteeing that if any late game shenanigans go on, if there's a comeback, an OT, a late goal, you're covered. That way, you can hedge for both to get an actual profit almost no matter what, and you won't come out with a loss. I think that's an ideal situation.
Yeah.
So I would lean Sharks. I would lean under game sevens. They can be high scoring if one team just comes out flat. But I would still go under a total. I think the total was 6. It was 6, shaded at 1.9 on the under. So I would take the under because teams know you don't want to give up that first goal. You don't want to have a 2-1 deficit at the end of the first period, that sort of thing. So that's for that game.
Okay, that's all right. That's for that game. Anything else that you like here? Because obviously, Washington Capitals, quite big favourites really against the Hurricanes. Anything else that you like there?
Yeah, I think that price is justified. Each team has won all the home games. They went 2-0, 2-2, 3-2, 3-3. So I think the Capital. I said to somebody else yesterday, if this was last year's Washington Capitals, I wouldn't be surprised if they dropped it. I do think that they will just be well prepared, focused, and they can. I think they can run over Carolina. I mean, last night Carolina beat them 5-2. That's very dominant. But for most of the first half of the game, it looked like, Washington, even though they were on their back foot, they were very dangerous every time they went into Carolina's zone. And this is the defending Stanley Cup champions. So if I would lean Washington or pass there. I would also lean on the over 5.5 actually for that one. But what I usually like to do is if I am taking it over in the playoffs, wait maybe 10 minutes into the game and catch it live. You can usually get it about 4.5. So a 2-2 score is more than likely in this game. So that my play would be an over 4.5 or over 5 if you can get it live. And then in the final best of 7, Boston Maple Leafs. Again, I'm already on Boston money line. I took them when they went down 3-2 on that one. So there's no reason to get involved. The best price that I saw was at Pinnacle at 1.7. Now, again, here, with these two teams, when Boston plays its best game and Toronto plays its best game, I think Boston wins this way more often than Toronto. In the games that Toronto won in this series, you sort of felt like Boston played badly, whereas in the games that Boston won, and I mean, these are just sort of subjective opinions of mine. It's not like you can judge a price on this. But in the games that Boston lost, Toronto lost, it was Boston outplayed them heavily in all areas of the ice. Boston shut down their best players. And that's what's happened. In the first 3 games, Mitch Marner had, I think it was 4 points or I don't have the stat in front of me, but he looked great. He looked like he was worth a $9 million contract. And in the last 3 games, he's had 0 points, I think, and maybe 1 shot. So I'm leaning on all the home teams, the favorites here, the teams that I'm on. But of course, that's why I went into the series with my money on these teams in the first place, is because I thought if it went to a game 7, this is the team that should come out. So I don't want to be biased in saying that the away teams don't have a shot here, because they certainly do. And a game 7 is almost a coin flip. So the value play is going to kind of always go with the away team.
Okay, interesting stuff. Ergo Critic says Stone to score first at 10.
Ooh. Stone, I am so glad he went to Vegas. He because I remember watching him in Ottawa for I don't know how long he was there for or whatever, but he is one of those players. He has the highest turnover rate in the league, steals, which is kind of a weird stat for hockey. It kind of goes unnoticed. But when you think about it, it's really consequential, especially when you're a forward who can turn it over, on a defenseman who might be the last man back or during a change. He creates a lot of his own opportunities for his line, and it also adds to his plus minus. So I do like Stone to score first. I'm not sure I mean, I bet score even to get a goal is probably about 3.5, 4. I haven't looked. I don't play a lot of player props. I know some people that do, but I imagine even just him getting a goal would be a pretty nice price. So if Ergo has that prop in mind, maybe you can
Coyle to
post it.
score
But
at 6 is another one.
score at any time. Sorry,
I'm going to guess so. Yeah, Coyle to score at 6, odds of 6.
Charlie Coyle, or who's he talking about? Anyways, I like the anytime because the first goal isn't necessarily like, what if the second power play line is out there? There's no reason to, I mean, take just for a player to score in a game 7 is already pretty nice. So yeah, I don't mind the Stone one. He is leading the NHL playoffs right now in points. I think he has 10. Maybe you can correct me on that. I think it's 10 points, which it was only been 6 games. That's pretty. And he's got a great line. It's sad to see either Vegas or San Jose go home here because really they both could be good enough to make it all the way to the Cup Finals.
Yeah. Ergo Cortistic says Adams pure gold.
I appreciate that. I'm going to be up watching these Game 7s tonight. I took a nap this afternoon. So if you want to hit me on Twitter, talk about the game. Yeah, even though I think they're starting at 12:30 my time, but it's the best time of year to be a hockey fan. So even over in the UK, you have to make time for it.
Yeah, you sure do. Listen, it seems to be, because I was talking with Ed Hawkins at the beginning of the video, and their games are like 5 hours long, and he's watching them all. Yeah, that's dedication. Ergo Critic says, yes, Charlie Coyle for Boston. He's due to score one. And that was odds of 6.
Yeah, so Coyle was a pretty instrumental player for Minnesota. He has been a bit under the radar. I agree completely. He is due. I agree with that too. I think, I mean, you don't really want to take one of Boston has one of the best lines in the league, but they've been sort of splitting them up a little bit. Taking Pasternak or Marchand to score is sort of what everyone's expecting. I still like that because those players are big game players. We've seen them show up in the past in Game 7s. So, I mean, just go through the old stats between the Game 7 of the Leafs Bruins, I think it was 2013, and last year. And the Bergeron line, they show up and they play good in their own zone. So I still think there'll be 20-minute-a-night guys in Game 7. I do agree Charlie Coyle's due. I'm not sure if it's Game 7, but sometimes we see the unsung heroes of the league show up to score the big goals in these games.
All right, there we go. That was Adam Booth. Lock E QWERTY, like the keyboard.
I was going to say one more thing. Okay. Obviously the series will be ending on Wednesday night, and then I'll be doing the round 2 articles Wednesday night, and they'll be out Thursday.
Yes, and we have a dedicated hockey page. And right now, because oddsmarket.com is a work in progress, we are right now working on a tab that basically drops down. Hey. So right now, if you want to get to the hockey page, the only way you can do it is going tips/hockey. Other than that, it's all just sitting. So right now, we're working on these. These things take a lot of time. So yes, please. But if you do actually go onto the actual odds of hockey along the side panel there, is a list as well of the articles written by Adam. So there we go. Adam Booth, Lock E QWERTY, and great speaking with you, Adam. Enjoy the games tonight, some big ones. So yeah, very exciting stuff. Take care.
Yes.
All right.
Have a nice day, Nat.
All right. Thank you very much.